We're back in the garage and we're working on the dune buggy, and I had some parts come in that I've been waiting for. I thought I'd show you what's been happening. Now, as you might recall, a couple of videos back, I wanted to take the exhaust headers off of the Baja because they had the preheat flanges on there. And so that's what we did. The other muffler that I had been running, well, here, I'll show it to you. It had a hole in it. It had a nice big crack in it. So I got this other, I had this other header in my Horde, and I put it on yesterday, and man, it sure makes a big difference having it quieter. It is so much quieter in the car, and I thought it would look like it was a little choked down for a 2-liter, but you know what? It seems to be running pretty good. I don't know if it changed gas mileage, but I kind of punched it on a yellow light, and it took right off, and I went on the interstate from exit to exit, you know, and doggone, I had it up to 65, 70, and it was considerably quieter inside the car. I was really shocked that it would make that much difference, but it certainly did, and I'm real pleased with it. The outlet is pointed more directly to the back, I guess, and just more area in there. It's got the MP on it. I didn't want to sand it down. This is not heat-proof paint or whatever you want to call it, high temp paint. I just got it, I wanted to see what it sounded like, and it, you know, for the money, I thought it was okay, because I went back to AutoZone to see if I could get a different muffler without a crack, and they can't even cross-reference the number, and those doggone counter guys are getting to be so lazy, they don't want to go on the back and look, and it's like, what year car is it? Let me look on the computer, and if they don't have a number to reference it by, they're totally lost. I was trying to get 1 7/8 freeze plugs. That's what size freeze plugs go in these ducts. I said, you got some Dorman 1 7/8 freeze plug? Well, what's the engine size? What difference does it make what the engine size is? You know, got an 1 7/8. It's like the guy was totally lost, totally lost. So at any rate, so I took the exhaust off the Baja, and I took the glass packs off. I ran, let's see, I should have done the math over here. What are we up to? 862, and it was 666, so we're just short of 200 miles. And I did a mileage check. I let it run completely out of gas. I have 2 tanks on this thing, so I let it run completely out of gas. I went to a gas station, put 1 gallon into it, and took off, and I got about 27 miles to the gallon with the glass pack exhaust. Now this one, obviously, it's easier to get to the valve covers, much easier, so I'm kind of pleased at that. And I thought this would be noisy and obnoxious. I've got the style with the baffle. This is your old traditional Bobcat exhaust. Boy, you don't get more classic or nostalgic than the old Bobcat exhaust. So I thought I'd put this in. We had talked about 4-in-1 versus the split exhaust, so I'm going to see if it affects mileage. I have not even driven it, so we're going to do that here this afternoon probably. Go for a little putt and do some calculations. Now I can show you these CSP valve covers, which is another reason I wanted to try this thing out. I paid way too much for these babies. They're way too heavy. Gosh, they're heavy. But they are bolt-on, and they come with these Viton O-rings, and there is an O-ring channel. I don't know if you can see it in there, as well as a channel for the stock cork. Now, I don't think, and it sets right inside there. And look, it's got these little aluminum tabs to keep it in position on the head, as well as keep your cork gasket in position. And I have something with that same type of groove. I did not know it was for an O-ring. The previous person had put silicone in there, so I did the same thing and replaced gaskets on my 1776, and they don't work. They work fine. I haven't had any problems with them. 0 leaks on that. Don't jinx yourself. So at any rate, I I don't think they looked that fantastic, and I got the less expensive ones. These were like $100, little and some change, but I don't know. They're supposed to make it quieter, and my aluminum engine is definitely quieter. So I thought maybe I'll just put these things on, since I bought them. So many times I buy things, and then when I get them, I have solved the problem or changed my mind, and I've got a different baffle with some batting in it for the Bobcat exhaust. And of course, I can always go back to this style exhaust. And now that I've heard that MP muffler, I'm telling you, I'm kind of in stealth mode here lately. I mean, I get my moods where I like it loud and rowdy, but boy, there's something to be said for just quiet and slipping around, you know. So anyhow, I just thought I'd give you an update on what's going on here, and it does sound different. I don't want it. I don't want to warm it up because I want to play with these valve covers. Well, there it is. It's mounted. Pretty straightforward. Very simple. It went real easy. Comes with these plugs. They have look at all that meat there for the tapping. You don't have to use those leaky bung type ones that we usually do. And the O-ring fits snug. Let's see here, I'm just pushing it in. It doesn't feel like it's going to rattle. You're not going to sit on these tangs because it's centered. Very nice. These are supposed to be stainless steel nuts, I think I read on there. It doesn't come with any kind of directions. And let me see if I can get this in, and then we'll flip it over and I'll show you how I set up the seal. I don't know, like I said, there's no pictures for idiots. When you're putting in O-rings, you got to be careful that you don't roll them, because when you roll them, they kind of have a tendency to want to pop out. And I'm not going to put any sealer on this. I have a feeling that the heat is going to kind of work with me, and it has to stretch, and you have to have it want to be in there. It's hard to do it with one hand with the camera, but there you go. Yeah, so there's a little bit raised up. That's what does your sealing, and that's what you want. And then on this side, I'm going with the bolt, and I did get a measurement on that so I can pick up some spares. These are supposed to be stainless steel as well. And so I you can see it, I've put the O-ring down, and it just, there's hardly any space. But I'm going to get some extra O-rings. I have my O-ring kit, so I'll grab a couple out of there so I know the original size of these O-rings before they get distorted from the heat, because they will. Unless they're made out of something magical, but I didn't over tighten them. I just tighten them down until they get snug, and like a quarter or half turn. If it leaks, I'll give it a little bit more. You don't just go down there and give it 13 pounds. These you want to torque, because you'll be replacing. I put the wave washers, left the wave washers on, put this on top of that, and torqued it down to 18 pounds, just like the book calls out. So the only thing I'm replacing is this standard 8mm nuts with the longer coupling nut. So being as that stainless steel, hopefully they've calculated out. It says here they're made in West Germany. I don't know if that's good or bad. Somebody left a comment, said that these are supposed to be German-made, high-performance products. They don't have a lot. They have a very interesting looking distributor. It says, it's 400 and some dollars. It looks like a 009, and they call it, what do they call those? Pacemaker technology. So if you have one of those internal pacemakers or something that comes with, I don't know if you can program it, or if it comes pre-programmed, or if it's Wi-Fi programmable, but for that kind of money, you better do all kinds of magic. some rain up there in the hills. Going 50 miles an hour, 2200 RPM. You can barely hear it back there. Having that 4-into-1 kind of cancels out some of the noise. Burring along, I'm telling you. The more miles I get on this thing, the better and smoother it runs. Regular, $2.99. That's kind of high. There's some elk right there in town. Did you see those elk? Look at the mirror. Yeah. Oh, man. There's like 300 elk wandering around down here outside of town. That's funny. I mean, we are looking around. I mean, there's the Big Thompson River right there. They're close to the river, so they kind of walk along that river, I suppose. Okay, guys, the bottom of this hill is where I ran out of gas before. Was 869 when we left, and it's 92. Okay, from here on, we're getting better gas mileage with the 4-into-1 exhaust. Ah. And making more power. Smoother. Get wet. That's what they call virga. It never reaches the ground. It's raining up there, but it doesn't reach the ground. We get a lot of that around here. There it goes. 97. 897. There it is. The damn store. If you're ever out to Loveland, Colorado, heading up Big Thompson Canyon, you need to stop at the damn store and roll you off a penny or something. And we got the results from our testing. We got about close enough to call it 2 miles to the gallon more with this 4-into-1 exhaust. That's unofficial. It's not as accurate as using a GPS, but pretty cool. Well, I guess that sort of solves the question in my mind as far as efficiency of dual twin glass packs versus 4-into-1. I guess you could call this about the same thing as a glass pack, wouldn't you? Stinger with a baffle in it. It's probably a little noisier. Yep, there's a bus, and there was 2 buses down there in that hole. This was all closed down after the Big Thompson flood here a couple years ago. I think I should, this is all blind turns and quite beautiful. I should stop and get a picture of the car. I think I will. I used to bring my Harley down here and take pictures. As long as there's no cars coming the other way. There should be a gnarly looking tree around this corner. Isn't that a sight? There's part of the Big Thompson River. Yeah, this is a cool looking old tree and room for somebody to pass. I'm gonna get out. Oh man, you can hear the water going down there. So close to home. Look, somebody's got some lounge chairs. They've been hanging out over there. Huh. This is all private property for the most part. Oh, hello, getting in and out of this thing. Oh, I don't know if I could stand to look at it. It's got so much bling on it. Yeah, I got my little freeze plugs and my air ducts. I still got to get a little filter or something, do something with my other air breather. And yeah, we just drove 30 miles. Let's get some temperature readings here for you. Pretty mild driving, I must admit. These big aluminum valve covers. 103 degrees? That's amazing. The steel ones were more than that. And the head itself, 209. Wow, that's good. The header, 325, 255, 200. Wow. This valve cover, now it can 111. You got to be careful on shiny surfaces. Sometimes these infrareds don't work as well. 209. Boy, that's nice head temperatures. Oil filter 147. Crankcase 182. The sump is 156. No thermostat on this thing. And, you know, quite truthfully, I'm kind of liking it. Oh, the intake, yeah. No frost on the intake. 902. 88 on the carb. 104 beneath that where it's normally chilled. 109. 161 on that preheat. That's great. 142. 152. 110. Oh man, this is sweet. Sweet! You can see my little old Stinger. I don't think there's much, oh, there's some kind of baffling in there. And on this one, I can just take the screw loose and maybe I'll slide that other one down the here. Ha! Well, that's good to know. High temp silver. Matches the valve cover, doesn't it? They almost look aluminum. Wow. I don't see any marks on the exhaust pipes where they've been weeping. Well, they do it as advertised. I did have to put the cork gasket on it. I pinched that O-ring on this side, darn it, and didn't hurt it though. And I ended up leaving the O-ring on there and putting the cork on it dry, and that's what it is, and it's not leaking. So there you have it. And with those fins and stuff, it should, and being aluminum, it should help dissipate the heat. Got my MP emergency brakes with, you know, the emergency feature. Boy, I'm just tickled. Tickled, tickled, tickled. So, yeah, I'm gonna get some still pictures. I like my little dune buggy. Been hiding in the trailer all winter. It's good to have it out. Gonna go over to Freddy's burger joint with the guys tonight. Yeah, I like it. Oop. Oop. Good looking little buggy. I have there's a lot of fender clearance because I had originally set it up for paddle tires if the situation ever came up. I really like that bling on the generator pulley there. That's a nice touch. Those wheels, I bought them back in 2002. They sure have held up, and they don't have any coating on them. That's how I've taken care of this car. Well, the little tractor motor needs a tractor flapper, I'm thinking, on the exhaust. What do you guys think? Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot for a while. See how I like it. I think it's hilarious. And it's practical. In case I can leave it out in the rain, you know? It's that time of the year, springtime, we get rain. I think it's funny. $5.99, well spent. And as far as the rest of it goes, I think I'm done for a while. I'm just going to drive it. It does get better gas mileage. It is very linear on the power, just like you'd expect from a stock cam. Whether it has more power than what, I have no idea. It's running really good. I'm getting in the high 20s for fuel mileage. That's better than my dual carb engine. So for now, that's keeping me happy. And you know, always got to find something to tinker with. You know how I am. But this project has been worked out pretty good. I can't really complain. Exhaust is a little noisy, I guess you'd say. It's no worse than any motorcycle that's out there with an aftermarket exhaust. I mean, as long as you're not in the power, you know, it's not so bad. So, at any rate, I got to get cleaned up and going over to the car show tonight and see the guys. So, talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out.